Morning, folks. Welcome to Flex 11. Well done for getting up. Well done for getting on the mats. Yo, Becky. Yo, Melissa. Hey, how you doing?
I'm alright.
Excellent. Nice to see you. We've got jazzy new mics and all sorts going on here. It's a bit like, woo. You're looking nice and brown, Becky, there. Costa del Sheffield. Fab. Right, how long have we got? Chrissy, where's the timer? 23 seconds. Awesome. Do you want to mute the guys at home?
Can you mute yourselves, team?
Any chance you could just mute you guys so it doesn't feed back on the video, on the live stream?
Yeah, mute.
Right, I'll speak to you after. All right, we've got 10 seconds. Okay, so welcome to Flex. We have got, Chris is in the house. We have just got a little bit, oh no, we're off. It's all right, we'll go. Okay, come on down. Welcome to Flex 11. If you've not done Flex before, it's a nice challenging sequence, and we're going to get started in a wide-legged child's pose. Child's pose just allows you to stretch out through the spine, let the hips open up, and just create a bit of space in the body without doing anything too strenuous. So aiming to bring the forehead down towards the earth, let the hips sink down towards your heels. And as you're taking a few deep breaths here, I just want you to give yourself a nice pat on the back and a well done. Well done for getting on your mat. Well done for being present and allowing yourself to practice your yoga, which undoubtedly will have a huge effect on the rest of your well-being and on your life. So we've done a few sessions outside. This one was coming from the studio because it's a bit wet today, but if you can, get out in nature, get yourself moving, and just feel that oxygen breathing into the body on that breath in, and releasing any tension, any built-up frustration, anything like that on the breath out. So just softening nicely through the facial muscles, through the shoulders, through the arms, all the way down your spine, your hips, your legs. Give your toes a little bit of a wiggle, give your fingers a little bit of a wiggle. Maybe have a little gentle rock from side to side. So we're going to take a warm up, and then we're going to start off in a balance sequence first of all today. Always a test at this time of the morning. In fact, it's a test at any time of the day. So taking a little squeeze in through the tummy, I want you to press on up into an all-fours position. We're going to bring the knees underneath the hips, so we're going to take the hands out in front of us. Just going to squeeze onto that belly as we start to take some circles through the hips. So nice, easy way to warm up the wrists and the shoulders. Feel free to change the direction of your circles, and feel free to draw something random. You could draw a little flower if you liked. Anything that feels nice through the hips, through the spine, just creating a little length through the spine, bit of weight bearing through the upper arms, and a little release through the hips. Nice work. Okay, taking the fingers and the hands back underneath the shoulders, walk them back. There we go. Find yourself a nice strong tabletop and take a lift up of that right leg on the next breath in. So taking the right leg out behind, big toe pointed towards the back end of the mat. And then I want you to draw a little rainbow with that back toe. So we're going to drop the right toe out of the left side of the mat, and then we're going to just draw a nice gentle arc, trying to keep the rest of the body nice and still, and tap down on the outside of the right of the mat there. So drawing a tiny rainbow, squeezing onto the glute, extending through that back line of the body, but maintaining that stability through the hips. Whilst you're here, just have a look at your hands. Just spread out those fingers, creating a nice stable base, and see if you can press down through the fingertips. So even if you're just getting that squeeze, practicing taking the weight there. Okay, come back to center, and then swap over. So taking the left leg out long, find that nice long line, crown of the head to the left toe, inhale. Exhale, drop the right toe towards the right side, left toe towards the right side of the body. Maybe even having a quick look at it if you want to hold your bend here. Taking a little lift in that gentle arc shape there. Well done. Firing up the glutes, getting the back body nice and warm. For another 3. So you can follow the toe with the gaze if you like. 2. And 1, release back to center. Awesome. Let's warm up the spine now. So squeezing in through the belly, let's take a little cat-cow flow. So using the hips and the pelvis, Drop the belly down, lift the gaze, you tilt the pelvis back and down, shoulders away from the ears, exhaling, rolling through the spine. If you want to make this a bit more mobile, you can drop the hips to the heels, scooping the chest between the upper arms, lifting and opening there. And again, rolling, rippling and rolling through the spine. Think about those vertebrae there, interlocked, connecting, but finding bit of space between them. So it's like a chain on a bike, connected but mobile. Okay, final scoop, final round into your angry cat. You can give us a hiss if you like, and then returning back to tabletop. No, Chris has fallen out with our cat because it's brought a half-dead bird in, and it's flapped its way around the lounge and made a right mess. Anyway, don't eat your breakfast anytime soon. Tuck the toes, inhale, lift up through the hips, bend the knees as much as you need to here. Have a little wiggle out through the hips, stretch out, find length, pedal out the legs, one heel down, other heel down. Again, readjust the hands if you want to. Look at the fingers, make sure the fingertips are, the pointer fingers facing forwards. And see if you can squeeze the upper arms in as you engage down the side body here. Full breath in and out of the body. Again, drawing in a bit of what you need. Nice stretch out. As you move the hips from side to side, you feel that lovely stretch out down the side. Okay, taking the gaze towards the thumbs. Let's walk the feet forwards for this first round. Taking a nice flat back. Feet are hip distance apart, hands onto shins. Stretch it out through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, fold, release. Soften those knees if you need to. Let the head drop. Finding space all the way down the backs of the legs. Again, you can stay perfectly still on this one, or you might want to take a little bend in the knee and an inhale, lift the chest, and then an exhale to refold. You might want to take a sway round through the upper body, releasing into the different areas, the backs of the legs, the lower back. So it's really up to you. See how your body feels, listen to it, and then after another 2 more breaths here, nice passive release into the back body. We're going to bend those knees and root up to rise. Inhale, here we go. Reaching up nice and tall, bringing the fingertips to touch. I always like to take a little back bend here. You don't have to. I just think it feels quite nice, just a tiny one. And then exhaling, releasing hands down through heart center, all the way down, planting just in front of the feet. Again, readjust the hands if you need to. Take a long step back, finding your nice strong plank. Remember, you can come onto the knees here at this point if you feel you need to. Taking the weight forwards, inhale, and exhale, keeping the elbows tucked in, coming down into your low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Knees again can be down. Just try if you can move the shoulders down the back a little bit. Maybe lift up through the quads and get those kneecaps off the ground. Exhale, releasing back into your downward facing dog. Having another little release and stretch out there. So as I said, we're going to start off in our balance sequence today. We're going to start off first with a standing knee lift, possible leg extension. Let's see how we get on. Okay, taking the gaze forward. This time if you want to lift, think about lifting the hips nice and high and trying to keep the knees fairly extended. So lifting and floating. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, release all the way down into your forward fold once more. So the idea there, as you hop forward, is you're lifting the hips nice and high. This is great prep for your inversions as well, when you start working in towards your handstands. Okay, releasing a little bit more with every exhale. And then bending the knees, let's go. Inhale, rise up tall, reach up. Exhale, hands release down to the heart center. Good stuff. All right, you might need a little bit of space in front of you for this because we're going to move into Warrior 3 partway through the sequence. So, and also if you want to kick out on this next round. So ground down through the right foot. Think about finding that super tall sensation through the body. Trying to stick the bottom out, trying to tuck the pelvis underneath. We're going to take the hands around the left knee to start off, or the shin. Just focusing on that right leg initially, planting down through the big toe, little toe, heel. If you need to, just bend that knee a little bit in order for your center of gravity to adjust, and then try and extend a little bit from there. Okay, standing up nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. If this feels like enough of a challenge this morning, stay there. If you can, maybe you want to extend the leg, and you can keep a basket with the hands underneath the back of the leg, or you might want to challenge yourself further by taking the arms out of the equation. Another option is to take the peace sign finger around the big toe. Now, sometimes when people do this, they start to lean forward just so that they can grab the toe. What I want you to think about is length, height through the body, and not so much about length through that extended leg if it is is indeed extended, okay? So option to come back to your your knee lift variation if that feels okay. Well done. So we're just going to stand tall here, and then we're going to start to open out towards the side. So any variation here which works for you, keep that left hand on the left knee. Maybe start to extend the right arm out to the side. That's going to give you a little bit more balance. Take a breath, and then maybe start to open out through that left knee. So temptation here is to lean over to the right. Keep that height. Maybe extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. That'll help give you that lift. So feel your pelvic floor and your belly lift here as you come into this opener. So again, if you've had that toe bind and you're happy with that leg extension, you can take the leg, whoop, she says wobbling, out to the side there. So find that strong connection through that base leg. For 3, we've got a pigeon chair coming up. 2, and 1. So left foot's going to release wherever you are, whichever variation you're in, onto the right knee, just above the kneecap, so you're not pressing down on the kneecap, okay? Flexing that left foot, sitting up nice and tall, take the hands to heart center. As you exhale, start to sink the hips down towards the mat behind you. Now, say you move backwards because we want you to be able to see your toes so that front knee isn't moving forwards over that toe line. By flexing this foot, we're protecting the knee, and you're also getting that nice stretch out through the glutes. So chest is wanted to be lifted here. A lot of people start to fold forwards here just to get the depth through the squat. We want to create height through the torso. So keep lifting up, gazing forwards. If you want to get the arms involved, you can throw them up into the air. You might want to take them out for balance if you're feeling a bit wobbly. So shoulders want to slide away down, past the ears, down the back. Well done. So great hip opener, this one. It's also good for releasing stress from the hips. I don't know why we tend to store stress in the hips, but let it go. It's not worth holding on to. Okay, we ready? This is our warrior 3. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release the left foot behind. So arms can come down parallel to the body as we create this beautiful T shape. Palms are facing in. If you want that extra challenge, you can take the arms out in front. If you prefer to have the hands at the heart center, that's cool. I like to flex my back foot on this one. Activate the quads and the glutes. If you want to point the toe, that's an option as well. Just working more into the hamstrings. So wherever you want to be, make sure you've got that little tight squeeze on in the belly. And for warrior 3, the chest does want to be parallel to the floor. So we're not working towards a standing split. I don't want you to start folding towards that right knee. Just kicking up. Just see if you feel like your hips are both facing down towards the ground rather than opening out. Okay, well done. Inhale. So working into strengthening the back body here. Exhale. Okay, let's see. Add a bit of challenge in here. For those that want, see if you can take a toe tap with that lifted left toe. So we're just going to take a toe tap towards the floor, holding on to that stability. Inhaling to lift. Squeeze back up. We're going to take 2 more of those. Lower down with that left toe. Tap it onto the floor, keeping the chest parallel to the floor. Lift up. Final time. Yeah, baby. Lower down. All right, keep that foot down. Keep the heel lifted. And let's work into our crescent lunge. Like yabba dabba doo. All right, sink those hips down. So crescent lunge, if you want to drop down onto the back knee, that's cool. Just make sure that this front knee is over the right ankle. Now taking the arms up into the air, shoulders away down the back. Inhale. And exhale. Start to lift up through the chest. Think about that lengthening sensation through the front body. Letting the gaze lift as a result of that tiny baby back bend there. Really stretching and opening the front body there. Can we come down a bit deeper into the hips? As I said, don't worry. If you want to bring that back knee down, it's a beautiful option. Nice modification to take. Breathe in. Fill the lungs. Expand the heart. If you're feeling wobbly, keep the gaze looking forwards. See if you can lift up a little bit more through the fingertips. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Down we come, a bit deeper. Nice work. For 3, keep that front knee nice and stable. So really good for stabilizing the lower body. 2. And for 1. Good. All right. Extended side angle, and then they call it something else then. We're going to turn out the back foot, so you got that heel to inner arch alignment. Front knee still remains bent. We're going to take the right forearm down onto the right thigh, but it's a gentle glancing connection, not a heavy lean into that right leg. So stretching away
through the left fingers, great for stretching out and lengthening the side body. This one, just like our triangle pose. So feel that openness. See if you can move the belly button over towards the left-hand side of the mat a little bit, encouraging this left shoulder to really open out here. If you've got a different variation of your extended side angle and you want to take it, feel free to maybe slide the left hand down onto a brick or onto the floor, taking the left fingers into the air. Or if you've got a bind in your practice and you want to take the bind, make sure that you are bringing the right arm behind the thigh and not between the legs. Really pressing the hips forward so you, in essence, you're like you've been trapped between two panes of glass. So you're not sticking your butt out. Okay. When you're ready, we're going to take the gaze down. Wherever you are, releasing the hands around that front foot. So framing, pivot on the back foot so the back heel's lifted, and then step back and stretch out your down dog. Now hopefully you can feel that right leg, it's on fire. And we're going to even that up now with our left side. So standing leg extension maybe to start off. Pigeon chair, warrior 3, crescent lunge. And then our extended side angle. Let's go. Take a gaze towards the thumbs. Again, think about maybe hopping, soft landing, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, inhale to rise. Okay, hands down through heart center. Left foot grounds this time. Big toe, little toe, heel finds that deep connection to the floor. Get yourself a focal point, and let's press into the left foot, lifting up through the right knee this time. Making the basket around the right knee, and just hugging the knee in just for a breath. Even if you know you can take that leg extension, hug the knee in. It's a really good way of working to the hip flexor. Just giving it a little squeeze in there. Okay, maybe extending out when you're ready. You can take the bind behind the back of the leg, maybe around that right toe. Standing up nice and tall, trying to find that openness to the chest, so you're not hunching through the shoulders. Okay, any variation that you want to take. Just focusing on developing our concentration through our balance section, which is always great when you take it into the areas of your life. You can find a bit of brain training for you. Okay, let's take an opener. Taking the right leg over towards the right-hand side of your mat. Maybe taking the arm out for balance. You could always take a single prayer hand at heart center or hand on hip. Lots of variations. Just really working into keeping that left hip facing forwards and opening out into that right hip as much as you can. Remember, you've got your leg extension variation if you feel like taking a much stronger, challenging variation pose. Okay, working your way back through center, bringing the right foot onto that left thigh. Hands can come to heart center while we transition down into our pigeon chair, and then feel free to take any variation of the hands that you like. So hands again, they could come out to the side, they can come to the ceiling. Making sure we can see our left toes, taking the sit bones back, coming down a bit deeper if we feel able to, and all the time just pressing this right knee, using our muscles, not our hands, to draw down and open up into the hip, into the glute. Nice little glute stretch here. For another 3. We've got warrior 3 next. Make sure you've got space out in front of you. 2. 1, here we go. Inhale to rise up, shoot that right foot back. So it's a nice slow transition. We don't want to rush our balances. Okay, you can have the hands out in front, so you might want to take hands to hips, hands to heart center, and hang out here. So squaring off the hips, squaring off the shoulders, pointing or flexing the toes, either is fine. If you're feeling super wobbly and you've got something you can grab onto, such as a brick, then feel free to take a supported warrior 3. That's also a wonderful option. Okay, now if you're feeling it and don't feel that you have to, we're going to take those 3 toe taps on the last one coming into crescent lunge. So slowly, so the right toe, tap it down on the floor. And then squeeze to lift, trying to stay as still as you can through the rest of the body. Number 2, lower down with control. And then squeeze to lift. This wasn't in the actual sequence, I've just put it in for fun. Lower down and find that connection. Drop the ball of the foot to the back of the mat. Lift up the heel, make sure the knees are in line with the hips. Sweep the arms up high. Exhale, down we come, crescent lunge. Let the shoulders release down the back. Trying to extend that back leg as much as you can. If you feel you need to bring that back knee down, that's fine. So again, when I say bring the knee in line with the hips, what I mean is we don't want the knees dropping into center. We want to make sure that the knee joint remains stable and strong. So taking the arms up or taking the hands to the heart, if that's a nicer variation for you this morning. And slowly on the next exhale, releasing the gaze as you take that tiny back bend. Feel the abs stretch out, feel the shoulders get heavy. And breathe. Nice work. Good work at home, everyone. You can see I'm sporting one of our new t-shirts. For those of you that can't see, it says, "What a planker," on the back, which is what we're going to be doing next. Lots of plank. Okay, taking that next breath. Inhale. And exhale. Pivoting on that back foot as we come into extended side angle. So right toes turned out, left toes turned forward. Maybe bringing the left forearm down. Check into that left knee. Is it in the right place? And then think about pressing the left hip forward. So really engage your left glute. This is the one that wants to press forwards as we open up here. So arm can come directly up towards the sky or reaching up and overhead for that extra side stretch. Taking any variation, if you've got the bind, have a go. If you want to bring the left hand down onto a brick, that can feel quite nice as well. Left hand underneath, right hand over the back like you've been arrested. That's it. So what we don't want to do is close the chest to the floor. So really squeezing into the glutes here to press the hips and open. Helps if you gaze up towards the ceiling, I find on this one. And find a few breaths there. Nice strong pose. Great for toning the legs, this one. For 3. 4, another 2. Well done, everyone. Doing really well. And for 1, take the gaze down, release the bind, release the hands, frame the front foot, step it back, find your high plank or kneeling plank, coming forwards on the inhale, releasing down on the exhale into that low chaturanga plank, inhaling, scooping the shoulders and the chest as we lift, maybe knees off the floor, maybe they're not, and exhaling back to down dog and having a good old stretch out through those hard working legs. Now hopefully your lower half of your body is fully I was going to say fully turned on then, but maybe that's not the right term to use. But switched on. Engaged, switched on, yeah. All right, well, are you ready? We're going to start our plank sequence. We're going to start off with a chaturanga plank. So a split plank. So we're going to roll on forwards, finding that nice strong line. You can come from the knees if you wish. I'm going to drop down onto the left forearm. So left finger's facing forwards. Right hand is going to remain underneath the right shoulders. We tuck the right elbow in. So because we're working on this asymmetrical design through this split plank, it's going to feel slightly strange. You're going to want to roll onto that left side, but we're going to resist that temptation. And it's great for keeping the nervous system fired up, this one, because you're using different sides of the body to do different things, really engaging and switching on. Think about the heels coming over the toes. So maybe I find that I press my heels back too much in an attempt to straighten my legs. I want you to roll forwards so you bring the heels over the toes. It makes a massive difference to the strength in the upper body. So keep squeezing into the belly here. One more breath. Inhale. It's a toughie. And exhale, bring both forearms onto the floor and lower the hips to the ground. We're going to release the toes and take a Sphinx pose. So inhale, squeezing into the lower back, squeezing into the glutes as we lengthen through the front body. If your Sphinx, if your lower back's quite tight, just take the elbows out a little bit further. But if you can see yourself, make sure that they're in line with the shoulders so you're not splaying the elbows out too much. So finding your variation of your back bend. Again, try to avoid shrugging the shoulders up next to the ears. Take a breath. Release that breath, close the eyes, just take a moment. Feeling strong, yet relaxed in our practice today. Okay, you ready for that chaturanga plank on the other side? Inhale. And exhale, take the gaze down. Now you can leave the right forearm where it is. We're going to release the head down so we've not got that baby back bend there, and then press into the left hand, pop it underneath the left shoulder, tuck the toes, and back up into that forearm split press. So as I said, you can bring knees down if you need to. And again, just moving the weight forwards and backwards and finding that challenge. Breathing in, long spine, gaze down. So you want to imagine that nice long line all the way from the crown of the head to the heels for another 3. This is going to help us later, building strength here for our wildcard pose. 2. And one, well done. Releasing down to the ground, so you can slide the the right hand back. I've got a touch of the roses this morning with my lefts and rights, haven't I? Squeezing the elbows in, we're going to press on up. I'm going to find a side plank and a tree variation if you've got it. Okay, so working first of all into that nice strong press, taking the right hand down to the ground. We're going to open up into our side plank towards the left hand side. Now, tree plank, if you're feeling steady enough, you can take the left foot to the left ankle, the inner calf, or you might want to bring your left foot all the way into the inside thigh. And as if you were doing a standing tree, I want you to press that right inner thigh into the left foot and vice versa. So looking out towards the horizon will keep you nice and steady. So you're balancing on the side edge of that right foot with the right hand directly underneath the right shoulder. So opening up into the hips as we squeeze the glutes. See if you can bring that left knee back a little bit into that space behind you. Perfect, well done. So building arm and shoulder strength here, as well as working into the side body, as well as working into the hips. Loads going on. I'm going to take a wild thing next. For 3, for 2, 1. Now, if your left foot is lifted, we're going to step it behind. If it's not, just step it behind anyway. We're going to squeeze and lift through the hips, finding our beautiful back bend, nice invigorating pose. And then I want you to exhale, drop the bum down towards the ground. And then I want you to inhale to reopen, re-stretch and lift. Maybe coming a little bit deeper into your back bend. And then taking one more of those dips down with the hips. And another squeeze. Okay, you can hold on here. Reaching, lifting for 3. Really breathing into the chest. 2. 1, nice work. Bringing yourself back through center, left hand plants, right hand plants underneath the shoulders. Take a moment, take a breath to reset, and let's go. Left hand under the left shoulder. Open out to the long right side of the mat, taking the right arm up into the air, and finding your variation of your side plank. So if you really do need to bring that left knee down, that's absolutely fine as well. So taking the right leg up into the air. So if you're in your tree plank here, you can see Chris's hips are coming up to the ceiling. What we're trying to do is bring the hips forwards so he's in that nice long line. So if you feel like your hips are opening out more like a wild thing, just see if you can bring the butt forwards and keep yourself in that nice long line. Full breath in, well done, for 3. Ready to rock that wild thing, 2. And 1, step behind with the right foot. Inhale, lift. So left hand, left foot down. And then exhale, drop the hips. Or you can just stay put if you want. Inhale, reach up and over. Nice work. Exhale, drop it down. Looking good at home. Upside down. One more lift. And hold on there. Well done, awesome. Maybe gazing towards these top right fingers for 3, for 2, and 1. Nice work. Take the right hand down to the mat. Pivot all the way so you're facing the mat and you're in that high plank. Take the weight forwards and transition. Or if you need to have a little rest, have a rest. Low down, low plank. Inhale, up dog. And back into your down dog. All right, lunge section. Let's have a go with scorpion to start off. And let's see if we can have a go at maybe binding our scorpion. I always find this one super tricky. So set it up from the off. Pointer finger facing forwards, left foot plants, inhale, right foot nice and high. As you exhale, open out that top hip, bring the right heel towards the bum. Avoid reaching and leaning over to the left side if you can, and taking the gaze initially back to the left big toe. Or maybe turning to take the gaze underneath the right armpit. So we're rolling out through the hips. We want the hips to be facing over to the long right-hand side of the mat. Pressing down hard through the fingertips. Maybe that left heel comes into connection with the foot, but no worries if not. Okay, if the hamstrings aren't feeling that, then just keep the heel lifted. So what I was going to offer you as the option, if I get my teeth in, is taking the left hand to that right lifted foot. So it's a play around, don't worry. So press hard, as I was saying, into the right fingertips and start to float up that left hand. See if you can take a little hold on to that right toe, and then release back to center. Don't worry if you're rocking a wild thing and you roll over, that's fine. Okay, 1 breath here, and we're going to release into lizard. Inhale, and exhale. Bring that right lifted foot outside the right hand. Well done for giving it a go. Slide the left foot back a little bit as we come into our full lizard pose. Maybe dropping the back knee down if you want to take a kneeling variation. I always like to have a little rock and a roll around through the hips at this point. So remember, right hand is on the inside of the right foot, just gives us a bit more space in the hips. If you know that you'd like to come down onto the forearms in your lizard and you want to head down there, that's fine. You can come down onto the forearms. Or if you've got a brick, you can use a bit of a halfway or a cushion if you're at home, or whatever is to hand in your lizard. So really opening up to the hips. Good one for toning the thighs again, the inner thighs particularly. And in a sec, we're going to move into a runner's lunge. A runner's lunge, a warrior two with some cow face arms. So if you've got a tea towel to hand and you know you like to take a strap with the bind for cow face, then grab that. Okay, let's heel toe that right foot across. Okay, turn out the left toes, readjust your stride length if you need to, and let's float up. Inhale, windmill the arms, find your warrior two. So pressing forward with the glutes again, tucking the pelvis right under, so you're not in this position. Okay, so again, checking into that front knee. Whenever you've got this front knee bend, knee over ankle, arms outstretched. Try not to lean forwards with this one, try and keep the torso nice and tall. Inhale, looking forwards over those front fingers if you can, squeezing the glutes, finding length through the spine, length through the arms. Drop down a bit deeper into the hips if you can. Well done. For 3, 2, and 1. Pivoting on the back foot. Coming into your runner's lunge, maybe just adjust slightly. Okay, keeping the hips nice and low. We're going to take an eagle arm. So take the hands out wide. As you exhale, take the right arm over the left, wrap at the elbows, maybe bringing the backs of the hands together, or maybe you can get that secondary bind, bringing the palms together. Now think about sending those fingertips up as you drop down with the shoulders and the hips. Come down a bit deeper. Kneeling is your option here if you like. Okay, other option is to just take a hug of those arms around the shoulders. You're still getting that beautiful stretch out across the back and across the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, so moving in different directions here, fingertips high, hips and shoulders down to the earth. Nice, strong legs for 3, 4, 2, and for 1. Well done. Press up into that front knee, release the arms, and pivot towards the long left side of your mat. Now, if you know you want to use your strap at this point, we're going to be working into a cow face arm as we come down into a squat. So, weight into the heels, taking the right arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to drop the right hand down the back, and then the left hand is going to come to meet it. If you haven't got a strap, you can use your clothing. You can hold on to the clothing, or you can grab a tea towel, dropping it down the back, so holding it firmly in the right hand, and then using the left fingers to attach. Chris is making progress. And then from here, I want you to drop the hips down. Okay, so taking a knee bend. We want knees in line with the ankle, so again, no knees coming forward over the toes. Weight into the heels, just to allow us to really deeply squat, keeping the spine nice and long if you can. Temptation when you're taking cow face arms in a deep squat is that you overarch the lower back. So really turn on the abs to prevent that from happening. Come down a bit deeper. Maybe have a little pulse and a play around there. 5, 4, nice. 3, 2. It's only a short lunge sequence this one, so we're going to swap it to the other side now. And 1. Awesome. Release that bind. Give the arms a little bit of a shake out. Hands to hips. Inhale, lift up tall. Okay, pivoting towards the front of the mat. Take the hands down, framing the front foot, and stepping back. Find your downward facing dog. Okay, challenging scorpion pose coming up. Are you ready for this one, Chrissy? Yes. This time, it's the left foot that lifts. So when you feel connected, fingertips are set up. And the right foot is down. Inhale the left foot high. Exhale, heel to bum. Open out through that top hip. And start to think, I am stable. I am balanced. And when you feel like you're fully stable and balanced, maybe releasing, even if you just take your right hand off the floor for a few seconds. Okay, and then see if you can take, I've got a really short right arm, so I can't reach on this side. I can balance, but I can't reach for some reason. I don't know where my foot is. Somebody's moved it. Always happens. Whoa, and I'm falling over. Are you ready? Inhale and exhale. Left foot forwards. Let's find that lizard. Slide that right foot back. Always having a bit of fun at rise. Have a little roll around through the hips. As I said, I've got a very short right arm. I can bind on the other side, but not on this side. No, in seriousness, to do with my hip flexibility. So if you can't find that bind, sorry?
I was going to tell you about your arm.
You're going to tell me about my arm, okay.
So feel free to drop down onto the knee. Feel free to rock out a forearm lizard if your hips are nice and open this morning. Well done. Let the gaze drop towards the back toes if you're coming down onto the forearms. Nice release of the head. Stretching out long through that back leg if you can. For another 3, 2, and 1. Press into the hands. Heel toe the left foot across. Let's find warrior 2. Turn the right toes out. Okay, feel balance before you start to move upwards. Inhale, rise up, windmill the arms. Stretching out long. Hips come down, fingertip away from fingertip. Full breath in, full breath out. Awesome. Hold in there. For 3, for 2, and for 1, runner's lunge. Pivot on that back foot. Okay, this time, have a look. Knees in line with hips, arms out wide, left over right. Back to the hands together, little hug across the shoulders. All that secondary bind at the wrists as well. Inhale, fingers lift. Exhale, hips and shoulders move south. Keep that back heel lifted. Keep that strong connection through the legs. Nice toning workout. It's good for working on your stability through the lower part of the body as well, a lunge. That's it, dropping shoulders away from the ears. Few deep breaths. Inhale, maybe lifting the fingers a bit higher. Exhaling, dropping the hips down a bit lower. For 3, for 2, nice work. And 1. All righty, here we go. Are you ready for that? A twist to the side, taking the left toes around to the right-hand side of the mat, and then taking that cow face. So working into the opposite side. So it's left arm lifts this time. Left hand comes down the back. Right arm reaches up behind. Okay, so you're aiming here for that left tricep, the upper arm, to come right up towards the ceiling, okay? That elbow wants to point high rather than over to the side. If you can't take the bind, grab a hold of a t-shirt, grab a hold of a tea towel, and extend the arms. Start to work down into your squat when you're ready. Again, making sure we're really firing up the abs here so we don't get that arch through the lower back. If you find that your knees are moving forward, send your sit bones back a little bit. Maybe pop down a little bit deeper. Maybe take a small pulse at the very bottom of your range of motion. For 5, 4, 3. We've got hips and core coming up next. 2, and 1. Releasing the arms. Well done. Hands to hips. Inhale, press up through the feet, standing tall, and windmilling the hands over. Framing the left foot, stepping it back, finding your high plank, and let's go. Transition, low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, beautiful stuff. Back to down dog. And we're going to hop onto our derrieres, or you can walk the feet forward, your choice. We're going to take a seated forward fold. So you might want a tea towel or a strap, something like that, just to extend through the arms. So pressing down through the heels on this one. Keep a slight knee bend to start off with. Find that comfortable position on the sit bones. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, reaching forward, so finding length rather than bringing the head down towards the knees. Shuffle the sit bones away a little bit, or if you want to, you can use the strap around the balls of the feet. If you have got a brick and you're feeling super stretchy, you can always take the brick at the top end of the feet, so you can use it for all sorts. Another good thing to do with the brick on a forward fold is to sit on it. Just gives you a bit more space through the hips. So from here, we're just going to enjoy a nice, long, relaxing couple of breaths. Working into the hamstrings, working into the lower back. Again, try to avoid hunching the shoulders up next to the ears. If you've got to that point where you don't feel like you can stretch anymore through the lower back, then you can start to drop the head down. That'll just give you that extra bit of juiciness in the stretch. And really nice, calming the nervous system again, this one. Not that I'm saying you're all neurotic or anything, but it's nice to allow the nervous system to stay as calm as possible. Okay, we're working into a bound angle next, and then a twisted prayer sit up. So when you're ready, inhale, come on up. Taking the soles of the feet together. Again, sit on a brick if that feels nice. In fact, I might do that this morning. Okay, so sitting on your brick and just shuffling your bottom to the edge of the brick if you've got one.
or maybe onto a book, playing around with how far the heels are away from the rest of the body, taking the hands around the ankles or making a basket around the toes. And there's sort of two variations of your bound angle. You can take that lean forwards with a nice straight back like you were doing in your forward fold, or you can round to the chest, tuck the chin down onto the chest and release into that C-shaped spine. So obviously with a straighter back, working more into that lengthening of the spine, whereas if you're rounding, it's more of a passive release through the lower middle, upper back and shoulders. Chin to chest. Taking 2 more breaths here, and then we're going to have a play with that twisted sit-up, a bit of a rock and a roll, and then a wide-legged boat. Okay, take that breath in. Rise up tall through the spine. If you've got that brick, you're not going to need it now. Just switch it over to the side and working into our twisted sit-up, bringing the knees together. You can plant the feet down on the floor. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to take the feet off the ground if that's not going to work for you. So avoid this rounded sensation through the spine. Lift up tall like somebody's pulling you up with your t-shirt, taking hands to heart center. We're going to find a rotation through the spine. Tap down with the fingers. If you want to make it harder, lift up through the center above the head and then tap down on the other side. And you can start to think about floating the feet off maybe if that works for you today. Okay, straighten out the legs obviously makes it a lot harder on the balance and that challenge through the core. So find something which works all right for you. We're going to go here for another 10. Find that breath. 8. 6. Lovely job. 4. And back to 0. Awesome. Taking the sit bones down and the feet down. We're going to have a little rock here. Now, this might not be for everybody, so just be aware of the neck, okay? Keeping the chin tucked onto the chest, we get that nice rounded shape this time. Okay, we're going to have a little rock and roll, so take the hands behind the thighs. We're going to take a roll down through the spine, and then a little roll up to seated, okay? Rolling back down, so nice spinal massage, but we're having to try and work into the core a little bit as we come into that balanced position. So see if you can avoid putting the toes down. If you want to take a firework, Chris is calling it, arms and legs shooting out. That's it. All right, are we ready? We're going to rock up onto the sit bones, and we're going to hang out there. Try to avoid putting the feet down if you can. If this is your variation of boat, stay there. If you can extend the legs into a wide variation, go for it. Or if you can take the toe bind, let's lift up through the chest, extend, and hang out there. If you're feeling super strong, take the arms into the air. Make sure the shoulders stay low. Breathe in, breathe out. Think about decreasing that angle at the hips and stretching out long through the legs for another 5, and a 4, and a 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Releasing from there. Okay, guys, well done. We're going to work into our wildcard pose now. So it's, as I said at the beginning, when we're doing those split planks, it's an asymmetrical balance. So one forearm down, one hand under the shoulder. And it's a split crow with an optional leg extension. So we call it pain in the asana, but that's not its correct name. That's just what we call it. So one thing you can do here is taking the forearm down, I'm going to take the left down first, and then the right hand. So right hand wants to plant underneath the right shoulder in line with the left elbow. Okay, if you come in for toe stands, maybe it might be slightly easier. So just as you would in your crow, we're going to take that squeeze with the arm, the forearm side. So left forearm down, left arm squeezing there, because obviously there's no shelf. Whereas with your right hand, you can create that shelf with the upper arm. So starting to rock forward, just as you would with your normal crow, think about length through the spine and maybe floating the big toes together. So if you think about squeezing the big toes together, you automatically start to squeeze in through the inner thighs. Okay, so try not to move too quickly into this. It's very much a floating sensation that you want to get. So, as before, left arm squeezes around the upper left arm, and then taking the right leg onto your little shelf. Okay, finding that squeeze there. Okay, let's have a play on the other side. And then we'll see if we can get a bit of a leg lift going on. So taking the right forearm down, left hand plants underneath the left shoulder this time, squeezing, 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 and maybe Starting to lift up with that left leg. Go, Chrissy. Do it for the team. One thing you can do is do this a bit closer to the wall so you can walk that extended leg back up the wall, because it's not an easy one.
Really well, those with those wild cards.
They're amazing, weren't they? Yeah. But yeah, it's something to play around with. I'm definitely not feeling that this morning, but it's one to work towards. All right, we've got about a minute and a half. We can come down into Chilasana. Yeah, I like it. There was another wild card, but I don't think we've got space or time. But it was going to be a headstand, so if you want to pause the video and rock out a headstand, go for it. It's just though Chrissy's going for it anyway. He's going for the tripod variation. You have got your Indian headstand as well, with the forearms down, so that could be an option for you there. Taking the soles of the feet together, letting the knees drop out to the side, arms out nice and wide. And then just breathing into the body here. You might want to extend the legs if your corpse pose is your preferred Shavasana. And just breathing strong, deep, steady breath into the body. Letting the muscles relax, letting the mind stay still. Any thoughts that come wandering in, just breathe them away, like they're trapped in a bubble, and see them disappearing. Focusing now on releasing, relaxing down for the next 20 seconds. Letting the belly be soft. Letting the heart and the lungs feel snuggled in the chest. And just accepting that if your practice today was not where you'd hoped it would be, that doesn't matter. That's just where it needed to be today. If you excelled yourself and you took your practice to places it's never been before, like Chris did with his binding cow face, that's awesome. It will happen. It will happen gently over time. Just keep at it. Keep working away. Okay, give me one more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Taking any little stretches, wiggles out that you need, and then coming into seated. I'm going to take a little rock and a roll and a hug of the knees. You can always pause the video or stay here a bit longer in your Shavasana if that's what you choose. Taking a nice seated position, cross-legged or kneeling, your choice entirely. Inhaling, rising up with the arms. Bringing the fingertips to touch. And exhaling down through heart center. Well done, everyone. Namaste.